People often ask me how they can make themselves practice. Whatever spiritual practice you are following, you should, before everything else, understand why you are practicing it. Whatever you do, you must know what you are doing it for, and what exactly you should do. If you have some abstract ideas and want to implement them, you'll hardly ever make yourself practice because you are lacking a clear and detailed program, or sadhana. Sadhana is divided into a few forms or techniques. It consists of a few points. You can start with the first point, develop and finalize it. Then move to the second point, mastering a new technique, and so on. This is a basic and facilitated scheme, but it slows people down, hindering their movement along the path. I recommend you practice with understanding. If you have the right motivation and at the same time understand what you are living for, where you come from, who you are now and where you are going to, you won't have any questions. But you should remember that your mind will never agree with it. In fact, all the problems that arise while you are practicing and mastering sadhana, all the trouble that comes during your spiritual movement along the path of life, all of that emerges in your mind. Can you remember any situation in your life when you were exhausted and didn't have any desire to practice? Suddenly someone called you and suggested doing something. Your interest was stirred up. You felt energy, sprang to your feet and ran. You completely forgot that 5 minutes ago you hadn't even had any desire to move. Where was this energy from? That was the work of your mind. Your task is to understand that there should be a direct connection between your intellectual, emotional, and motor centers. If there is no such direct connection, it will be difficult to generate energy and steer it in the right course. Thus, you should have understanding. This is the intellectual level. And feel a desire to achieve a high goal, emotional level. Then your body will become a good instrument. You can start with something small and insignificant, and then, with the help of this small, come to some great and significant achievement. If you need 1 hour practice, but you think you are completely worn out to practice, it's simply the work of your mind. One always has strength to do whatever he wants. According to Kriya Yoga of the High Path, our body is a bundle of energy. Therefore, we always have this energy. If you can't acquire knowledge in its particular form, you also can't receive energy in this form. So, if you feel slack, it means that your effectors, your brain and all the centers, are tired of the senseless mental activity and the waste of strength. Your task is to concentrate on something you should be concentrating upon. You should do something that is necessary to do. Besides, you should be present in what you are doing and be aware of everything you are doing. To think only about something that is necessary to think about is a habit. There is such an idea as master of thought, master of word, and master of action. It means that your thoughts, words, and actions shouldn't differ. They should consubstantiate. Then you'll accumulate energy. There are lots of ways to check how this energy could be accumulated. So, why is it difficult to practice? You should know that your mind diverts your attention to something that is interesting to the mind itself. It doesn't want to be engaged in something that will finally cause its disappearance. Ego will never agree with such an end. Therefore, on the first stages of practice, there can be a sort of a fight. The one who has a high life goal wins. So start with something small and gradually move towards greater goals. For example, you've started practicing. You have to sit down energization or 42 Kriya exercises, which don't please students that much. But you don't feel like doing all of that. You should know that at this moment, your energy is dissipating as it is being wasted on frothy things. You don't know why your energy is dissipating and where it is going, but it's going away. You should stop thinking about anything and stop trying to make yourself practice. Sit quietly for 2 or 3 minutes and accumulate your energy in the spine. You'll feel how your disposition will change. Say to yourself, now I'm going to practice only for 5 minutes. Then, for the next 5 minutes. On the first stages of your practice, you can sometimes discontinue the techniques. Don't worry about that. You are recalibrating yourself in this way. For example, before you start practicing, you can recall that you wanted to go somewhere or to do something, but you have to practice. You can sit down and say to yourself, now I'll practice for a while and then I'll do what I wanted to do. In this way, people who don't understand the high idea of practicing yet can calm down their minds. You should also understand that your mind is strongly dependent on the external influence. There's a lot of astral beings who want to draw strength out of you. They live on this strength. Wishing or not, they try to distract you from the way of self-development. So, when you are practicing and meditating, you can be disturbed. However, it only shows that you are keeping on the right track and have lots of strength. This is to say that your way is first time right. No matter how many astral beings are trying to draw your energy out, they won't be able to disturb you. If you have mental stability, belief and determination, you can do whatever you like, staying in your temple, physical body. You should bang your fist on the table and say that it's you who is the master of the house. If you really say this at least once, you'll feel another sort or level of energy, and the state of your consciousness will change. Consider one extremely important point. You should follow your path with understanding. Be aware of the fact that life is very short. Try to realize who you are now, where you will go afterwards, and what you have achieved in this life. All the religions have the idea of bearing death in mind. This idea reminds people that life is very short, so that they could do something important before it's too late. If you follow such extreme ideas, they'll motivate you to act and even to make a good progress. But I would recommend you to rely on inspiration and on the simple human desire to become better and stronger than you are now. You can use the idea of superpower or any other idea that can motivate you. In fact, the most important thing in life is self-realization. Now you can start doing self-realization techniques which will help you to become a man of the right stamp. As they say, there are lots of people, but very few real ones. So we should move to acquiring a God-man state. You'll be able to comprehend much with the help of small and insignificant things. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. If you practice regularly and make progress on your path, you accumulate a lot of psychic force. This energy sustains your mind, making it stronger. Some students complain that, within a certain period of meditations, their mind first calms down, but then, in a while, it manifests itself again and becomes so strong and active that it starts jumping like a mad monkey. They ask what they can do with it. The most important thing which is necessary to remember is that your mind will become extremely active before it tranquilizes. Before you step up to another phase of your development, which can be called, I'm the master of my mind, your mind becomes very active, trying to pull you out of this state. This process takes time. It doesn't happen within one day. It takes place during a certain period of time. Your old samskaras and attachments wake up and rise. When you are practicing meditation, they rise like silt from the bed of the sea. It is the garbage of your subconsciousness. You can and should get rid of it. However active your mind is, your concentration power should win. If you feel that your mind is very active, remain in its activity. You are not your mind. Distance yourself from it. You are neither your body or your mind. You're an observer who quietly looks on everything that is happening to him. If you are not your mind, who can frighten or distract you? Who can put any pressure on you? Follow this principle and insist on it. It's a very important thing. Learn to understand who you are and to feel that you aren't your mind. Learn to do that before the long dream of death comes. During the period of death, or while you are sleeping, sleep is a short aspect of death, your mind disappears, as well as your personality. Whatever is happening to your mind, it is just an instrument, a record which is playing noisily, and you are just an observer who witnesses this process. Your task is to shift your attention to yourself, that is, to someone who is watching. Then no one will be able to disturb you.